This entry was for Flora and Fauna at the GCA annual meeting, which was held in Sawgrass, Florida. Of course, my husband would have loved to have gone to that one, but we were unfortunately not able to go. So I was signed up for botanical jewelry. It's called Elegant Entomology. I was to create a cuff bracelet of wearable size inspired by the vast array of insects found in Zone 8. When looking at insects for Florida, you can do the dragonflies and things like that. So I concentrated on butterflies and ladybugs. I thought those would be fun to make in a cuff. So back to the base. We were not given any sort of cuff or anything. We had to make it entirely out of plant material. So at first I was trying to create a cuff that would stand alone, and so I used this acrylic cuff to use as a template to dry some rattan around. And I was having trouble because it just wasn't working. No matter how hard I tried, it just wouldn't curve the right way. So I went online and I found this oval bracelet mandrel. These are things that you would use if you were making jewelry with metalworks, and you can use this to hammer on and whatnot. But it would be the perfect size. Of course, you didn't need to go out and do something like this. If you found something with the correct dimensions, you could just use that. But I did get this, and as you can see here in this photo, I taped the rattan around it to have it dry and hold it in that shape. And then I came along with some curly willow and cut it into pieces that would then create this cuff that would stand alone. Here you can see the different sticks that I used, and I tried to be random and kind of have them curve around and just take up the space, and it helps to keep the rattan in its place by gluing it to each side of the cuff. To get to the pieces that were going to go on the cuff, I went back to gourds again. I'm really starting to enjoy using gourds, but you can get these little gourds such as these. One of them is called an egg gourd. I don't remember the name of the other gourd, but they're small. And you can get these on Etsy. And the reason I like them is because, as you can see here, in the inside of this gourd, after you cut it open, it curves so that the flower won't lie flat, which is what I was hoping to do. It's also rather thin as far as gourds go. Some of them are thicker than others. This one's rather thin. But I liked the idea of having a little thickness to these flowers, sort of making them look as if they're enamel flowers or something like that, an enamel look, if you will. And so I cut them out. I took a pattern of flowers. I like this particular flower pattern. And I cut all these pieces out with I love these jeweler's saws. It's very easy to work with. They cut through just about anything. You know, they're meant to cut metal, so you can imagine how easy a gourd is to cut with these. And you use this little wooden thing that keeps the saw blade away from your counter. As you can see from this picture, I cut into that wood quite a bit so that I'm not cutting the counter, but I'm actually help you protect your counter. And you can get really precise with these little blades. They're very thin, so you can get right in there and create these. Here is the cuff in a video, just to show you how it looks all laid out. What I did was use double stick tape just to see if I had enough butterflies and flowers and whatnot to fill the spaces here. So I looked at it quite a bit and found that I moved them around and thought that this is a good layout, and I had enough of them. So it was back to the pieces and creating them to be finished. Here the butterflies are just drying. The flowers, I wanted the inside of the flower to have these stamens and pistils and all the other stuff. So I had created these little pieces here with the eucalyptus around another piece. But I found that they were kind of chunky. I decided not to use them. And instead, I took each flower and I drilled little holes in the flower to receive the eucalyptus so that it would be nice and clean. To put these lines on the flower, as you can see here in this photo, it's a clear nail polish that is a gel that you use the UV light So you put this in on the flower, you paint these lines on, and then you come in with this powder. This isn't a great video, but I had just one hand, so it was kind of moving around. And this powder, after that clear nail polish cures for 30 seconds, when you put the powder on, it sticks to the lines, but not to the whole flower. So when you're done, you have these nice little lines of gold, and they really sort of make that flower pop, if you will. And then after I painted those, I went into the eucalyptus and glued them in each little hole, and found that that was not only going to secure them, but it also gave me a real clean look for these flowers. And then it was just a matter of the butterflies. I had these little, I love these little ladybugs here, if you can see them. And I just put them around the whole bracelet, and that was that. I enjoyed making this. I used nail polish for the color. I thought they were just a real pretty combination of colors. And then I packaged it up into this little Rubbermaid thing that had a little space in there. One of the things I did find, though, that the flowers were not staying on the bracelet. Sometimes I find when you glue things after they've been painted, they don't adhere as well as they would if they were not painted. So I did learn that I used just the regular white tacky glue, and perhaps I should have used a stronger glue, because poor Christina, the class consultant, had to glue a couple of my flowers back on before the show. But here it is in the show. It got first place, and they really liked it. They said, exquisitely crafted design elements rhythmically placed around the cuff created a design of distinction. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.